So, let's get back to Michael Jackson. What do you know about, you know something that, and this is where I will give it some credence, because rather than relaying to me some information you heard on some show somewhere or some other BS crap about Project Monarch and Project Bluebeam and all these other declassified stuff that now everybody knows about, you actually know somebody who knows.
Yeah, well, this comes from two guys who know nothing about what you were just talking about. They don't, and they're not aware that world exists. A friend of mine is a music producer here, and he was, a lot of people don't know, after Michael Jackson's trial, the last big profile one, he came to live in Ireland. He lived here for quite a long time. And he was moving around from castle to castle with his kid in these remote, there's some, a lot of castles here are also like very nice hotels and stuff like that. So he was basically renting them out. And a lot of them have recording studios in them. And there's this one anyway, my friend was producing this song for some pop singer here. And the guy wanted to record the song in the same studio in this castle that Michael Jackson was in, because he was a Michael Jackson fan. So he told me that the castle to start with was in the middle of nowhere. It was like somewhere in the center of the country. It was like once you got off the motorway, it was like another 3 hours down back roads and through the woods, these small country roads to get to this place. And he says you finally find this castle in the middle of nowhere. There's no village near it or anything. And it has like a big state-of-the-art recording studio in it. And they were in there doing the recording session with this pop singer, and he noticed this sort of like it's like a sequencer kind of machine. It allows you, without having any musical training, to actually create rhythms and that kind of thing. It's a MIDI kind of sequencer thing with a drum machine. And it was a really nice state-of-the-art one. And he was talking to the engineer, and he goes, "Oh, that belongs to Michael Jackson. That one. Yeah, that's his personal one." When he was here recording, and he says, well, Michael Jackson was recording here. He says, oh yeah, he was here for months recording an album. And he says, what was that like? And he goes, oh, it was interesting. What was he like? He says, it was just like a regular kind of, he was strange on one level, but polite and everything nice on the other level, very professional. And he says, so what did the record sound like? And he said, you wouldn't believe it. He says, they sounded like punk rock albums or something. And the lyrics, he said, were like, all about like he was being framed, he was naming people in the music business who were involved in like rituals, and these guys knew nothing about this stuff. And he said it was all crazy shit, and he says I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And then the master tape vanished and has never been heard of since. And then Michael Jackson dies. So make of that what you will. That's my Michael Jackson story. He was recording an album according to two guys who know nothing about this conspiracy stuff, who said that it was loaded with all these kind of weird lyrics, a very different kind of music for him, very angry, very naming names of like high profile people. And the album was really bad.
We'll be right back for that thought. All right. Last half hour of the show, we'll take some phone calls. Thomas, you were finishing up something there on Michael Jackson?
Well, that was basically it. That's the entire story. That he made an album that had a lot of apparently whistleblowing on it, and it's gone.
And you're saying he went a bit punk?
Well, he said it was like nasty and noisy. That's the word he described. It was not like typical Michael Jackson. It was heavy and it was aggressive.
Interesting. Maybe there's a redemption for everyone, huh?
Yeah, now these guys are not, they wouldn't make this stuff up because it's just not their personalities, so they've nothing to gain by telling me this stuff, because I keep this stuff to myself, I don't. And
as you're saying there, like these guys, they haven't watched any of the conspiracy videos saying that, Michael Jackson was going to expose Satan. Well, a lot of good that would do.
No, they wouldn't even know that stuff exists. They just know about his music and the pedophile stuff.
So that's actually quite interesting. And perhaps, because I think even obviously looking at Michael Jackson's earlier work, it served the system. But then again, you know, I think at some point, some of these guys that have been, they're just like, enough, you know? Enough.
Yeah.
There's always an opportunity for redemption. I guess once your name is big enough, you know, that chance isn't there anymore.
Well, imagine being in a situation where you sell 25 million albums and it's considered a failure. A flop. And that's the kind of way he was treated, which is insane when you think about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, if this show was reaching 1 million listeners, I'd be looking over my shoulder all day long. You know. All right, we got a couple calls. You ready to take them?
Sure.
All right.